Welcome to Full Frontal. I'm Samantha B. Donald Trump's second impeachment trial started yesterday, and like my boiling pot watch party, absolutely nothing will happen. Meanwhile, the president's supporters are still out there, and they have spent years wreaking havoc on people who are just trying to do their goddamn jobs.
Get back on your highway to hell and get out of a godly man's face! My happiness is best served by standing.
You're discriminating against me because I'm a Trump supporter.
Okay, sure.
Black Lives Matter. So I'm sorry. I need a straw.
Here.
She took that straw directly to the ocean and stabbed a turtle with it. The pandemic has put a renewed focus on a working class that now has to risk getting sick on the job while receiving little to no support. Millions of Americans are in desperate need of help right now, which is why it's great that President Biden's economic recovery plan includes something that could improve countless lives.
Look, our recovery plan also calls for an increase in the minimum wage at least $15 an hour. No one in America should work 40 hours a week, making below the poverty line. $15 gets people above the poverty line.
$15 also buys unlimited access to Joe's entire video collection on Only Trains. Subscribe now. Look, we haven't had a raise in the federal minimum wage in more than 10 years, which is the longest period in history without an increase. It's insane that America updates its Spider-Men more frequently than the minimum wage. Unfortunately, while the budget resolution moved rapidly through Congress last week, the push for $15 an hour is in a fragile place. Not only has Biden himself admitted that the wage boost might not make it into the final relief bill, he also faces steep opposition, including from a member of his own party.
Manchin also came out against raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, which is included in the Biden plan. The Democratic senator tells reporters that he's supportive of something that's, quote, responsible and reasonable, like $11 an hour.
It's actually not shocking that Joe Manchin is openly against other Democrats on this. He's kind of like the Jay Leno of the Senate. Both love denim, both have Republican appeal, and both have ridden with Charles Barkley in a floating car on a CNBC show. West Virginia's Joe Manchin is one of the Senate's most conservative Democrats. But Joe, buddy, we need you on this. A $15 minimum wage would lift the pay of 32 million Americans. That's a fifth of the workforce. I mean, why else do you think so many Republicans hate the idea?
It will not serve Americans to ram through a one-size-fits-all minimum wage hike that CBO says would kill more than 1 million jobs.
And the people who lose their jobs first when you hike up the minimum wage are black teenagers. So, why does Joe Biden hate black teenagers should be the question.
Rand Paul also added, well, that's my contribution to Black History Month, before slowly fading away. The fight to pay people a living wage didn't start in Congress, it started in the streets.
Dozens of workers walked off the job at McDonald's, KFC's, and Burger King's. They're fighting for higher wages and the right to unionize.
They hit the streets in protest in a nationwide fight for a $15 an hour minimum wage.
Make our wages supersized!
Sorry, conservatives, you can't call it socialism if the workers' slogan aligns perfectly with corporate branding. While some states are improving, the federal minimum wage itself has been stuck at $7.25 since 2009, and that isn't close to enough.
As of 2014, 1 in 6 restaurant workers, or about 16%, live below the poverty line.
I have a 1-year-old son. I'm a single mom. I make $7.50 an hour at McDonald's. I make $2.30 to $2.40 every 2 weeks.
Raising the minimum wage would help 10.5 million families who currently have to rely on safety net programs like Medicaid, CHIP, or SNAP. Republicans love to bash these programs and claim too many people are using them, but fewer people would need assistance if their employers just paid them a living wage. It's not rocket science. And despite the insistence from Republicans that raising the minimum wage would cost jobs, there's growing evidence that's just not true.
Axios actually did an analysis using Bureau of Labor Statistics data. They actually found that, look, actually in states that actually hiked the minimum wage, they are experiencing job growth. States that don't necessarily raise that minimum wage, they're not necessarily doing as well.
The analysis then took it one step further and disproved the theory that mo money equals mo problems. Also, Biden's proposal isn't even that radical. It would only increase the minimum wage to $9.50 an hour in 2021 and then gradually to $15 an hour by 2025. Think of it as minimum wage foreplay. It'll take a while to build, but when it gets there, it's fine. Paying people $15 an hour is just the beginning. The current proposal increases as median wages increase, and that's important. We shouldn't have to fight once a decade to pay people what they should have been making the previous decade. Regardless of what Republicans say, paying Americans fairly doesn't soften the economy. It strengthens it. It makes it bigger, like foreplay. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. Aw, thanks for watching. If you'd like to hear more from Full Frontal, hit subscribe and visit our page for more videos. Or if you'd like to be radicalized, leave YouTube on autoplay.